quarterback was dismissed, and now he's a walk-on at another school, and Clemson now runs the ACC. College football is almost here, and I need to do another downfall video on another star program, and this video is going to be a deep dive into what happened to the Florida State football team. The Florida State Seminole football team just had their worst season in 2018 since former head coach Bobby Bowden's first season in Tallahassee. This program was on the top of college football from 2012 through 2014, and have slowly fallen off the map and now seem to be lost. There will be three coaches that I'll be talking about today at Florida State: Bobby Bowden, Jimbo Fisher, and Willie Taggart. But first, let's talk about the man Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden is one of the greatest coaches in college football of all time, and is the face of the Florida State football program. He's in the top 5 for wins in college football's history, and was at Florida State forever. The Bobby Bowden era started off in 1976, and he previously was the head coach at West Virginia from 1970 through 1975. He left West Virginia to get warmer weather and to be closer to his mom and his mother-in-law. The team he was taking over had gone 4-29 his previous 3 seasons, and I read that he wanted to stay at Florida State for only a little bit before landing a bigger job like Alabama, but we all know that never happened. The program only had 2 bowl game wins in the program's history before Bobby Bowden got there, and this was not one of the premier programs in the sport, but Bobby got them turned around and playing well. In 1976, Florida State went 5-6, but this was literally the last losing record Bowden would have as his time as the Noles head coach. Starting in 1982, Florida State never missed a bowl game under Bobby Bowden, in which he made 28 straight appearances, and that came to an end last year, which I will get into in a little later, but that is an insane streak that might never get duplicated. He even led Florida State to 14 consecutive top 5 finishes in the AP poll from 1987 through 2000. To give perspective, Alabama under Nick Saban is on a 6 consecutive year streak, and Dabo Swinney at Clemson is on a 4-year streak. Just shows how good Florida State was back in the day and how dominant the school was. The Seminoles played in 5 national championship games between 1993 and 2000, and claimed the championship twice, in 1993 and 1999. The 1993 team went 12-1 to win the title, but the 1999 team were a perfect 12-0, and they were the number 1 team every week in the season in the AP Bowl. He led the Seminoles to 12 ACC titles, which could have been more if Florida State wasn't independent, and joined the ACC in 1992. He had 2 Heisman Trophy winners. In 1993, Charlie Ward won the Heisman as the team's quarterback, and in 2000, Chris Winkie won also as the team's quarterback. There are so many great things I want to talk about with the Bowden era. All the great teams he had, all the players he had, and the coaches he developed, and the games they won. But I don't want to keep you here all day, but just remember, this program was one of the best in the nation during his time there, and became a household name. But sadly, Bowden's time at Florida State did have to come to an end, and his final year was 2009 after a couple of good but not great seasons. He wanted to stay for the 2010 season because it would be his 35th season, and they opened against his alma mater in Samford, but they ran him out. But he has since made peace with the president who forced him into retirement. But with the Bobby Bowden era over, we now get to talk about the Jimbo Fisher era, and this era lasted much shorter than I ever expected. Now, Jimbo Fisher's coaching career began with Bobby Bowden's son Terry. Jimbo played for him at Salem College, and then he transferred to Samford, where Terry got the job there. And one of the weirdest things is Terry is going to be 63, and he has been the head coach at Auburn University and was the head coach at Akron just last year. But he will be going to graduate school at Clemson this year and will serve as a graduate assistant. And Texas A&M, where Jimbo Fisher is the head coach, will be playing at Clemson versus former head coach, who is now a graduate assistant there. And Terry's other brother Tommy was the head coach at Clemson, but got replaced by Dabo Swinney. And that is just one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard about, but this is 100% accurate. Okay, back to the story. I just had to mention that because it was just making me laugh. Now, Jimbo played for Terry and then coached with him from 1985 through 1998, so Jimbo knows the Bowden family very well. Jimbo then spent time working under Nick Saban, Les Miles, and finally became an assistant under Bobby Bowden at Florida State in 2007, and became the offensive coordinator and QB coach. And on January 5th of 2010, Jimbo became the 9th head coach at Florida State. The 2010 team won the Chick-fil-A Bowl and went 10-4 and was led by Christian Ponder. The 2011 team, led by E.J. Manuel, went and won the Champs Sports Bowl and had a 9-4 record. In 2012, E.J. Manuel led them to an Orange Bowl victory, and they went 12-2. But we all remember the 2013 Florida State Seminoles. This team was just absolutely filled with NFL talent. I mean, look at these pictures from the 2013 team for the offense and defense from that year. It's just wild how many great players were on this team, and even if some didn't turn into great pros, this team dominated all season. Obviously, we all remember Jameis Winston and his Heisman Trophy season. This team didn't have trouble with anyone at all during the season, and cruised to a national championship game versus Auburn. Their average margin of victory was around 42 points, and they hold the FBS scoring record for 723 points in a season, and they could have gotten more if they kept attacking some of these teams they played. Their defense was great, their offense was better, and this team is honestly one of the greatest to ever play. The coaches did a hell of a job recruiting this team, but that is honestly why they had a downfall. now, but I will come back to that. Entering the national title game, they played Auburn, who had a Cinderella-type season, and gave Florida State a really hard time. Early in the game, they were down 21-3, but they kept battling back and got the score closer each possession. They even returned a kick for a touchdown with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to put them up by 3. But Auburn returned the punch, and Trey Mason scored a touchdown with 1 minute and 19 seconds left, but that was too much time because Jameis Winston drove this team down from the 20-yard line thanks to a 49-yard catch, and with 13 seconds left with a pass to Kelvin Benjamin, Florida State won the national championship. Florida State was the last team to win the Crystal Ball, and this was the last great team we saw at Florida State. Entering 2014, Florida State continued their undefeated streak of 29 games, however. They didn't lose all year, but they did have a lot of close calls where they almost lost, and there was even speculation they shouldn't make the college football playoff because they were not a convincing team, and that got exposed in the playoff in the Rose Bowl versus Oregon when they got blown out and lost 59-20. In 2015, the defense carried the Seminoles to the Peach Bowl, but there they lost to Houston, and this was a weird season because they didn't really have a true identity. Entering 2016, a lot was expected by Florida State. DeAndre Francois was the quarterback and was supposed to be the next Jameis Winston and lead them to the promised land. They didn't accomplish that, but this was the last time Florida State was any good. The team finished with a 10-3 record and lost 2 close games to North Carolina and Clemson, who went on to win the title, but they were blown out at Louisville, which hurt their season. They won their bowl game versus Michigan in the Orange Bowl, and the team finished in the top 10 in the AP Bowl. Entering 2017, this was the year. Florida State was ranked number 3 in the preseason AP Poll, and this was supposed to be the year they got themselves back on track. But this year was nothing but a mess, starting out losing to Alabama in the first game of the season, and DeAndre Francois suffered a season-ending knee injury, and the team had to start a true freshman in James Blackman for the rest of the season. The team went 7-6, Jimbo Fisher resigned to take the Texas A&M job, and somehow this team remained bowl eligible, and honestly, they shouldn't have made a bowl game in his final year. They did win their bowl game, but next season was going to be interesting. Florida State hired Oregon head coach Willie Taggart to become their next head coach, and he has experience coaching in state at USF. Now, DeAndre Francois was coming back, and considering Oregon played well under Taggart in his first season, it was expected that they would be able to turn this around pretty quick at Florida State. But it was everything except for that. Florida State went 5-7, had a losing season for the first time since 1976, and missed a bowl game for the first time since 1981. Florida State's points for and points against were near or in the hundreds out of 130 FCS schools. Florida State had only 2 draft picks in the past year's draft, and the talent level has dropped rapidly in the past season. Now entering this year, DeAndre Francois was dismissed, and Taggart is showing that he is keeping players accountable and trying to change the narrative. James Blackman will probably be starting this year for the Noles as quarterback, and I think they could be sneaky good. They brought in Wisconsin transfer Alex Hornibrook, who started for the Badgers the past 3 seasons and went 26-6. And even if he doesn't play, he will be a leader in the locker room, and he could be a great foundation for the future of Florida State football. The 2019 recruiting class is ranked 21st in the nation and is the lowest since 2007. But now, we have to find a scapegoat to blame, and I blame Willie Taggart for this mess. I'm just kidding, guys. You all thought I was going to blame Willie Taggart. Nah. After researching what really happened at Florida State, this is all on Jimbo, and let me explain. Jimbo Fisher never adapted to modern-day college football, and it caught up with him at Florida State, and his exit from FSU left a nasty stain on the program that Taggart is trying to fix. Most Florida State fans say he just quit on the team, and it's hard to disagree. Jimbo was honestly a great coach on the field and had developed some great players, but that doesn't sustain a program, and where he lacked was off the field, and that's what cost him and is still costing them. There was a story on Bleacher Report after winning the national championship that Jimbo just said screw it, and all the rules went out the window after winning a title. In his final year, the team had the worst academic progress rate in the entire FBS. There was supposedly little accountability, guys didn't have to or want to go to class, and there were no standards, and the article said that it all started when he let Jameis Winston do whatever he wanted. This shouldn't minimize what they accomplished, but it still is alarming at what happened. But the great comparison is comparing the program with Florida's program under Urban Meyer. Win a title, have a lot of dysfunction, and a bad ending. Most of the guys who were on the 2013 national championship team were recruited by coaches who were not even there before or after the championship game. The 2013 team was recruited by coaches who left before 2013. 2012 offensive coordinator James Coley and defensive coordinator Mark Stoops left. Coley is the offensive coordinator at Georgia this season, and Stoops had a great season as the head coach at Kentucky last season, going 10-3 and winning the Citrus Bowl. And after 2013, new defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt left after only 1 season and is now the head coach at Tennessee. Florida State's defense was rocking under these guys. That's why they had so many great recruits and played hard. When they left, their defense fell apart and it unraveled them in the later years for Jimbo. Don't blame Willie Taggart. blamed Jimbo Fisher. Taggart admitted he had a horrible year last year and put together a staff that just didn't work. This team hit rock bottom last year versus Florida, but they are slowly turning it around, bringing in an offensive mind in Kendall Briles to run the offense, and knows offense because of his dad and his time at Baylor. And this year's reports have said guys' attitudes have changed and they want to practice, where before this season there was a lot of complaining and negativity thanks to the previous staff. Florida State was supposed to be the next team to take down Alabama as the top dog, and their in-conference rival Clemson went out and passed them up because they were sustainable. Now FSU fans have to give Willie a chance because he has to clean up this mess. At first, I wasn't sure if they should keep him, but I've completely flipped after doing my research. The culture is there this year according to reports, and I expect this team to have a much better year than their previous. I really hope things work out for Willie, and I think they should because he has entered bad situations before. Thanks for watching, Florida State fans and everyone else. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more college football stories.
So yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, not Odell, but Odell Higgins Jr. and Mike Novick or something like that. I don't know. I don't really know the guy, to be honest, because I never seen coach before, but you know, we might have a good year next season. We'll see. I hope we at least get some playoffs. Get some Iron Bowl. What would be amazing? Mike Novak. Yeah, I don't think no one really knows.
Alright, I know many people have been waiting for this Fearless video. I know I said it was going to be 10 hours, but there wasn't enough Fortnite videos to make it 10 hours. Use code FE4R, like, subscribe, turn on notifications for more bangers, and enjoy.
Oh,
and Fearless, don't copy strike this. I plugged your code in.
Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't do it, bro. You're gonna die. Trust me, do not.
Your orders are to deliver a message calling off tomorrow's attack. If you fail, it will be a massacre.
We need to keep moving! Come on!
1917, rated R.
This is Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is real cute. And if you don't like and subscribe in the next 3.6 seconds, I'm gonna kick Baby Yoda in the face.
You saved me, you little
Boys and girls, another day passes, and another day where Chip the next
Oh, what?
ammo box challenge. So when we drop in on Fortnite, we can't pick any weapons up. We have to first open an ammo box. And the type of ammo that we get from that ammo box represents the guns that we can use in that game. So if we get medium ammo,
Oh my god. Yo, that was sick. What did I just do? What did I just do? What did I just do?
Wow. That was sick.
Oh my, what? No way. No way. No way, just hit that. The no scope, what? Yo, I'm geeking out right now, no way. Oh, please one more. Oh my gosh. What did I just do? What did I just do? That was so cool. That was so, what? Dude, that was so cool. I get so hyped for no scope clips. I get so hyped.
Yeah, you seen that meme with Bugs Bunny when the girl that goes, she said she was gonna dry, and she.
Oh my gosh.
It's like,
Bruh. Bruh, what? That was sick. Jump shot, no scope. Oh my, what is going on? I got the same guy from last round. He left the game. I made him quit. Twice in a row with the no scopes. The guy sent me a message saying, bruh, I'm sorry, dude. Oh no, oh no.